Greetings, we are the Zetas. We are Zeta consciousness. Your Montauk, yes, is the misuse of Zeta technologies that's been found by your government, given, but a lot of it was found and misused. Much of it was used in your Philadelphia experiments. So Project Montauk basically, yes, your Nazis, which was very working with your various governments to control the mind. Well, so they can have the power, but also, yes, there was always an alien agreement in some form or another. And you're getting to understand that more clearly. How, well, you can say your world was sold out by alien beings, but of course the humans allowed it to happen. Notice how your government has no problem with selling your humanity out or your country out, but what about those that are your elite of your planet selling your entire world out? And that is what's going on. It's a deep energy. Basically, reptilian beings can use the Montauk energy technologies. It's not really called that, but they use technologies basically to read the minds of the many. It's like, because humans are technically allowing it because they're allowing technologies into their lives. So there's just a massive, once again, majority of it has to do with humanity agreeing to it. Of course, most humans, they did not agree to it, but if you're living out in the middle of nowhere in nature, and you're living a very primitive existence, which is good, most likely you can see the mind control that's going across the world. You also see alien ships manipulating society because you're not under the program. Of course, there are ways of programming those out in nature, but if you truly detox yourself from manipulation, you can see, in your third eye, just be at a distance, like you live in nature somewhere and you have a view of the city, and it's like, wait, is there ships above that city? Yes. This is what you're coming to know. So now those of you living in this city is just, yes, that's where the war is. So they pulled people to the cities, as you can see, they programmed others. So people wonder why they go through what they go through. Well, the whole idea is also to go through these things, to go through the negative and then bring in the positive of it. It's like being in a bad relationship. Sometimes you just got to go through it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody's going to go. But some people, it's like, you know what? Because on a soul level, it's like, it's here. Why not? Because some people get in a bad, terrible relationship. They know they shouldn't be doing that, but they do it anyway. So you get detail of that. So it's just on a soul level, you always know where you're heading. That's all we have, because this information is kind of, yes, loaded, as many of you know. Blessings. And here's the kitty. Hi, say hi, everybody. Oh. Greetings, rather, reptilians. Blessings to you. Yes, there is many Montauk, yes, is alien DNA connected with humans. Your X-Files gives a little bit of a detail of that. So they had to expose themselves through fiction. So there's actually, when they do negative things to your human population, you can say there is a time, sometimes they can say before they do it, but if they have to expose themselves afterwards, they have a certain time frame and they're allowed to do so. So a lot of their power can be taken away because they did not tell the public what they did. So your X-Files has a great deal of how they manipulate water, how is there some water places where people actually mutated drinking the water. I believe there's some details of that. It's all seen as fiction. We believe a lot of what is seen fiction here will be one day registered as nonfiction. Obviously, it's kept quiet due to your government agencies. Obviously, they're not going to make these things clear. They're covering up on multiple levels. It's just the way how they operate. And people wonder why how they cover up so much is not that difficult. Well, when you have a media that's constantly programming society, they can shift the realities and timelines where you do not see. So basically, they can be doing these things right in front of you, but you won't know it because they can shift the time realities, which is a little bit much for some to pick up on. But many have already seen the Matrix open up and other beings coming through and leaving, so it's not that impossible. So basically, human trafficking, all these things are happening, yes, in a pocket reality, as some of you would call. So to take it more seriously, you'd be surprised how much more you can download. It might be a little bit difficult for many to digest, but a lot of your creatures here, the animal beings here, are giving you details. But some of you see, people are already getting the knowledge, is just not believing it, just think it's fiction, but it's actually the real realities that are coming through. Obviously, it's not going to make itself too clear just yet. People aren't ready for it. As for reptilian energies, obviously, not all reptilian beings are bad for itself. A lot of draconians are tired of war, just like humans. We have our own hippies. We have our own George Washington. We've had our moments, similar to yours, actually. So yeah, it's not called George Washington, but we do have those that are in power. We have our own United States. So not exactly, but yeah. So you're kind of a copy of other places. Yeah, France. Well, there's worlds that are France. There's Italy planets. There's obviously Martian or your New Mexico worlds. New Mexico planets are pretty fat, or Mexico, well, Mexico, New Mexico. I guess it doesn't matter. Mexican planets is usually where Anunnaki store a lot of their information. It's just a download place. They can hide it in the sand. Most people aren't going to notice anything. You can put it underground. Because it's, think about Mexico and just deserts. You know, it's not exactly the easiest. And you could say Mars was at that point in some form or another. Not exactly. They did have a lot of crystal energies connected to them. Mars just had darkness, but it also had a lot of positivity connected to it. But Mexico is a good example of Mars. As you know, your desert places are very Martian. Mexico is probably the closest. Of course, because, well, at least the later Mars. Yeah. A little bit more technology. It's just to give you an understanding, Montauk is basically alien knowledge coming into your reality. The Nazis were a doorway for alien downloads information to completely flood your Earth. Yes, they did it in a negative, but also as a positive, because there are a lot of positives done through your surgeries, through various different technologies, through health. So it's not all negative, but the negative sped things up on multiple levels. So you're here to unlock and heal. So you're healing all the talk, as many are trying to go for a greener earth. You're healing that. You're just going to a healing phase of healing all your industries. Fracking is a form of healing in some form or another. You're just going into a new phase overall. It's just not showing itself too clearly. So that's all we have. Greetings, we are the Zetas. We are the consciousness. Yes, you are like you. We are. It is about you and me, you and us. We have Zeta worlds that are very close to a world like yours, not necessarily of a planet of emotion, but a place of understanding each other. And your world obviously is having difficulty with that. So we do see a time of humans understanding more of themselves, basically slowing down society. Your financial crisis in your 2008 slowed things down. Your current health situation in your 2020 slowed everything down. You're going into the next phase of slow emergence of the change, transformation. So, where many have to do many things to survive, which is understood, but that was done by design. A lot of it was done by reptilian beings. It's not just them. That has to do with corporate greed. I mean, reptilians would do speed things up. So the humans sped it up even more. The humans who are causing darkness here are exceeded reptilian beings, Anunnaki beings, other even insectoid beings, because it'd go against the human. So your understanding of now insects, yes, can be used against humanity. Not all of them are bad, but some of them can be quite sinister. They were designed that way. They were weaponized by other insect beings, and this is also nature. So you're going to go into a lap of understanding where all of this is coming from, why the world is the way it is today. You're basically calming things down. So expect more to slow down. For you to just like, wow, I have the whole day or a week or a month to understand myself, even better, a year or 5 years. Because the reason why so many have these jobs is it's another form of soul growth. But those of you who want to unlock and truly unlock yourselves, because that's another thing why many have not truly unlocked themselves yet, is because when you do know more about yourself, who are you going to share it with? So it's like either I stay in the agony of not knowing, because when I do know, who am I going to tell? And that's almost more harmful of not being able to tell anyone to heal. So sometimes you're waiting for others. It is this world is tragic, but also beautiful at the same time. Some of you are just tired of it. Yes, they're healing the timelines. And yes, you are doing battles, and some of you are battling spirit, the spirit beings, not necessarily the negative. I mean, the positive spirit. You're in the negative ones you're battling. It's on a daily basis. You're wondering why. Yes, it's like World War III, or 4, or World War 4, or World War 5. In astral, there can be atomic destiny. There can be explosions. There can be astral worlds being destroyed, and you're feeling the effects of it. Seriously, that's why some of you feel in agony. Of course, this might be a little bit much for some, but some feel like they're in battle all the time. So there's got to be something more going on, because there is. It's not everybody's a part of war. Just like on your world, not everybody signs up. Not everybody gets drafted, but those that get drafted already agreed to it already. Even if you didn't agree to it, you'll find, you did agree to it and you change your mind, but usually you find it out. It's like those that get drafted, they move to Canada, things like that. Next. Okay, for those that are not aware, you can go by, this is what I call it. It's basically a world within a world. It's basically another reality controlling ours. So I get a vision of, I see it in black and white, like a black and white movie. I see like workers, going into like a facility, like an industrial facility, programming us. Like they have computers, they put up a picture of us, and they're programming us how to think, how to act, or they're messing with us. Let's put it that way. Part of our timelines. Now you can look at it any way you want. It is an astral. You can say it's from another planet, but astral's kind of another fourth dimension. So however you want to look at it, but at least that's wise. So I haven't talked about this in like probably a year or longer. I think it was a little bit far out for some, and I kind of just pulled away from it. Actually, the book I'm working on, whenever I get around to that, was initially called Dimension X. It still might be, actually. I'm being pulled back into that subject matter. So just for others to tap into, it's not the easiest to tap into, but it's pretty out there. So I think it's okay. Here we go. Blessings. Greetings. We are the Zetas. There are multiple realities. One is Dimension X. There's actually many friendly realities also that are part of controlling your world. And some realities don't even know that you're even controlling it. Meaning that there is a version, there's a side of that reality that is aware, like a hidden. But those that are living it have no idea they're controlling your reality. A lot of it has to do with materialism. So a lot of them are in the 1950s, living the life in some form of that. You're like the modern version of the 1950s. Much of it was built. You can say it was much longer, older, but when your technologies came in, it's basically, so there are worlds where they are kind of trapped in the 1950s to a certain extent. And your energy is parallel to those other planets. You can say there are other versions of Earth, you can call it whatever you want. But there are other realities that are pulling on us. This is why it's so difficult for humans to let go in this reality. So it's part of your growth, it's part of their growth. And for you to go into the next level, obviously, it's not going to make it the clearest. Now, the darker version, what was called Dimension X, well, you can call that other one Dimension Zero, a more friendly version. Dimension X is where they don't care. They don't hide anything. Now, this one's a little bit different than the other one, meaning that they're not controlling. Now, Dimension Zero, the side that's controlling that, is actually very light. Those are controlling, or is very, very light, meaning it feels like that's the way to be. Materialistic, going to work, doing the same rhetoric over and over, but it's a lighter reality. Dimension X is kind of like poison. It's there to cause domestic disputes. It's there to lower the Earth's vibration. The reason why it's seen in black and white, because it's a darker reality, obviously. Well, it's just there to lower the vibration. If it's at a lower vibration, lower your vibration. So it's just there to kind of like be the lover of this reality, to truly kind of suck the air out of it. Some of you feel like you're here, you can breathe, but you feel like you can't really be yourself. You can't free yourself. It's like you're in a cage. Because they're programming others around you as what is normal, and that you're not normal. And that's a little bit difficult to see that, but it's like they have it's like a belief system energy they put out. What their version of normal is. They're constantly selling you. It's in the vibrations of the planet. It's not always going to be completely understood in this reality. Little bits are being brought in, but it's a parallel version of your Earth. That, yes, it doesn't know all the secrets, everything, but it's like your spy agency, like your NSA, it's similar to that. But it's a little bit more knowledgeable. It's a little bit more, it does know a little bit more. It's for privacy, but then what the hell do you care anymore? Especially when you want out of this, sometimes knowing, it's like, who's your controller? Who's the one doing these things? It's a step in the right direction. Unlock your third dimensional prison. Controller. Let's see the title here. Your controller, our controllers. Yeah. So, I saw the last one about Dimension X, Redux. After that, when I was coming out, I saw like a being with wires coming out of it. A human. Like a nightmare scenario. So, It's information. Take it or leave it. I mean, not everybody's going to be part of this. Well, you never know. Well, anyway, it's information. It's whatever works for you. All right, Muslims. Greetings, we are the Arcturians. So, what is called dimension? Yes, they're very controlling realities. You can call them archon realities, of basically taking away the soul energy of a human, basically concealing it, not allowing you to breathe. It is, yes, maybe more far out than most people want to tap into. Doesn't mean it has to be completely dark, but yes, it is a shadow reality that's there to put in a certain mindset. So basically what's happening, think of it as being on this world. You go through different sections of a library. You go through different sections of beings. So when you're in the 1950s, there are different types of beings here that are manipulating that reality. Now there's positive and there's negative. So you're in the, it's like you're in the cooker being roasted, but you're getting all these different types of spices put on you at the same time. It's kind of like that in one way of looking at it. So, yeah, it's kind of like a rotisserie in some regards. Some of you feel that way, doesn't it? Well, yes, because you are doing the same rotations, basically. Even no matter what wealth you have, there's still a rotation hard to escape from. So each decade, so you go into 1950s, 60s, 70s, all different. So different beings come, different beings go. That's why your eras change the way they do. Why certain technologies come in and certain technologies go out. Those beings go with those technologies, just to let you know. So this realm, this Dimension X realm, is, yes, you have different controllers on different days. That all depends on, not to put out paranoia out there, but if you want to heal yourself, this is a realm to look into and to release. It's like, I don't want an Illuminati controller around me anymore. Now think of it when you go to work. Isn't there like a manager there? There's always someone managing something, right? Like, you don't meet the CEO, but there's always a CEO or a main. You don't always see who's at the top, just like a government. So is this all that far-fetched? No. Do you want to see it is another story. Because connecting to these Illuminati handlers can release you from old contracts you no longer need. So that's all up to you. Some say that's too frightening, that doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it just means that they don't want to see it. We're putting it out there, yes, for those that want to heal themselves in this way. There's other ways of healing, but it does not mean this realm does not exist. It certainly does. And some of you are tapping into those vibrations as we speak. It does not, once again, it does not have to be frightening. It doesn't have to be terrifying, but it is a part of creation. Now, where it came from, it's human experience at a level that you can say has not been seen before. It is part of the human experience, going deep into human suffering in a way. It's like testing the humans to see what they will do in certain situations. That's what you're always doing. So you get pressured, you get put in a situation. Do you make it a good situation or do you make it a bad situation? It's like, it's just testing you on so many levels, but it's silly. Some people take point B, like if they get pressured, they go crazy, they get angry at somebody, or you put someone else in that situation, they're calm and want to sort things out. I just want a positive resolution. That's huge. So those that go negative and angry at everyone usually come back into the earth cycle. Those of you who just want peace with others usually find your way out. Greetings to you. We are spirit. As you go more and deeper into yourself, basically willing to allow yourself to let go of grief towards others or a loss and a healing. Now, they're not always necessarily meant to let go of grief. Sometimes you're there to hold on to it for your own soul learning. Sometimes you're learning about that person. There's different layers of it for us to fully go into the full aspect of it. But if you're willing to heal, releasings will, you're always releasing, but as you want to heal more, realize it's a slow process. So karma is basically just letting go, letting bygones be bygones, letting you connect more to yourself, not feeling grief towards others. Of course, you're going to have it just helps you see more clearly. It gives you a better vision of yourself and others around you. And you go deeper into yourself. Now, once again, this isn't always meant to happen. What you are is meant to be. You can hold on to it. Some are going to hold on to it no matter what. I'm clearing karma, everything but my grief towards a certain person. Especially when you see negativity or someone that's in a spiritual direction work that's using it for negative reasons. Yes, they might be helping others, but also siphoning the energy from them too, like soul-sucking vibrations, like a parasitic vibration, because some channelers do have that ability. And some are doing it, and many of you have probably seen it in some form or another. So when you're a spiritual parasite, basically, it is a soul that has trouble learning for itself. It wants to learn faster, but it's like an archon vibration. It's not willing to do its own work. So doing a spiritual development, helping others, but actually siphoning energy from them to give it to themselves. That's not always the case, but there's many cases where that occurs. So as you go into more of your clearing karma, become more clear. Sometimes you have a karma toll with that parasitic energy. Some parasites are human beings. It's hard to handle. It's hard to accept that type of reality, especially in a human form. But as you understand more of the blockages in astral, it all becomes more clear. As the soul begins to develop and letting go of third dimensional programmings, you see the parasitic reptilian beings and their positive reptilians, negative reptilians, you see all things that are connected to your earth. You just see the earth in a different form. You might even see it the same color. You might see it as blue, greens, yellows, orange, whatever it might be. A different shade where even your continents are in different places. That shows your part connecting more to the new earth. A lighter vibration, sometimes it's a harder vibration. Some souls are not ready for a positive new earth. Some need the negative. It's just a soul, it's a deep growth, it's a deep, heavy transition. And yes, it can be it's not an easy development. You're not coming here for easy. So yes, as you go into more of your spiritual development, you're going to see all these different realms and realities, but even the spirit world has many realms and realities, and you're just becoming more aware of it here in the physical plane. So that's very exciting for us and also difficult for you. Difficult for us also, because basically you're creating your own reality, becoming more aware of what you are here for. And sometimes it's allowed to reveal why you are here. Not always. Especially when you're developing your physical, you're in the physical experiment. You're not ready to see your spiritual side just yet. Of course, even if you are you're experiencing it no matter what. I mean, where do you think children come from? Where do you think positive energies toward? Even drinking is a spiritual connection. Even if it does bring in negative vibrations at times, not always, but at times it does. That's still it's always a spiritual connection no matter what. It just humans don't recognize it as that. Especially they use their psychic abilities, their intuition, and then they say none of that exists. When in truth, they're using all these engines, they're just not willing to face it. They're not grown up enough. It all depends on the soul. They're not always mature enough to realize what depth there. And many that are not letting go of their darkness, yes, many have dived into the parasitic side of themselves because they got fame, fortune very quickly, and it's difficult to release. Well, the fame and fortune, of course, they sell themselves out too. So a lot of those that have sold themselves out for financial reasons have a boss somewhere. And so they have to do what that boss says. Usually it's in the astral plane. Greetings to you, even us. This is us from spirit. Even those in the spirit world, we are being tested greatly because we see what we can do here, but humans reject our vibrations. Of course, we're not exactly the strongest beings to the spirit world, and your physical world is quite a different space altogether. So we can't exactly interfere too much. That's why we work with the aliens to assist your world in its evolution. So our aliens' nature is all a stepping point to the human evolution. Of course, we can connect to you on a spiritual level through psychic connection. But of course, Montauk is there to make it even more difficult to connect to your spirit guides. So one of the reasons why people aren't connected to spirit beings is because Project Montauk, one of the things was about it was to even make even more dense and harder to connect to spiritual, for your spiritual connections to come through. That's why some of you find a disconnect where you feel your guides, but then you don't feel their guides. A lot of it has to do with manipulation on your earth. Some of this is, yes, connected to your Orions, not all of it, but are connected to the galactic felines that don't particularly like your human race, along with reptilian beings, archon beings. Now, some felines shut things off because you might see too much, meaning it can be too heavy for you. So they're doing it for your own good. Obviously, you might not always agree with that, but sometimes not seeing anything is the best thing that ever happened to you. As some of you know already. Now, even those of you that are waking spiritually probably feel that this, the astral realm, it's left in the astral realm. Let's put it that way. You see everything. You see giants. You see everything. Distortions of all types. So Project Montauk has gone into more of a spiritual astral war on your planet to shut you off from connecting. So humans, as humanity awakens, there's different levels of spirituality. Many that are already in the astral war now are unlocking themselves to see beyond all veil. Some people only unlock a certain level, and they still need a leader to connect. I mean, you can have your leader and still have your own ideas, but some aren't really ready for that. They need someone to give them to the ideas. I believe some of you have seen that. It's all about, there's just certain areas that some souls can only handle. Like you can open up your window a little bit, but if you open up a lot, it can be very, very consuming. You can be pulled in because once these beings see that you're paying attention to them more often, it is war. So this war that's happening here, you can say it's with the astral government, is a parasitic government, parasite beings that are keeping souls here in a reincarnation cycle. So becoming more aware of that and healing those energies. Obviously, it's not the easiest due to human population not aware of what's happening here. Meaning that many in the third dimensional physical form obviously are not willing to know. Your Middle Ages, more people are aware of wizards. Wizard beings can walk around like it's no big deal. There might be a fear of there, but they can walk among you. Now, magicians are doing that now, but it's still not the same. Because back in the Middle Ages, they're still aware of there's an unknown energy here. Even Rome locked a lot of that out due to the reptilian agendas. Of course, Nordic agendas and a lot of agendas there. Let's put it that way. As your Orion begins to heal on your planet, Sirius has to heal also the Orion plague that's here. Now, there are a lot of positive Orion groups here that are doing some of them are feline, some of them are insectoid. But because of the darkness is so dense with humanity, many humans have stayed shut down for obvious reasons. But we do see an influx of spiritual endowment. Basically, some of you are here to end the war, It's just not everybody are realizing, ready to hear that there's even a spiritual war going on here. So it's a silent war at this time. So we believe many of you will get more downloads of what's going on gradually. Once again, and for your physical to know. Sometimes it's best not to remember anything and just let your soul rest. But some of you just want to end this war, and it's best to have patience in a situation like this. All right. This is human distortion field. All right, blessings. Greetings to you. You're always going to find a different way of looking at reality. This is higher self knowledge. This is actually consciousness of the universe itself. You're always going to find individuals of seeing things differently because there's so many different timelines. To see the exact one isn't necessarily important. It's what's finding your spiritual self. It's allowing you letting go of the third dimension. It's like going out into the ocean. It's like ready to jump into the pool without being afraid. So the spiritual pool, it's configured to everyone differently. Basically, you want to jump out into the spiritual realms and not be afraid. And that will heal this earth and heal yourself. Most importantly, when you're ready to leave this earth, or others that are ready to leave this earth, they'll have less distortion as they leave the planet. I mean, they can go into the spirit realms without having attachments, without holding on to this earth. You can go into spirit with attachments connected to you, especially those that are dying in the hospital. It all depends on the person. And then they can be trapped on this earth, have an energy, some part of their energy trapped here. I believe that would make a lot of sense. Why I think so. Beings, as you come here, they don't make it easy, as you can see, but as you leave, they don't make it easy either. So as you leave the earth, you might see a creature being try to hold on to you to keep you in this realm. Well, because they can feed off you, especially those that aren't spiritually aware. So those of you that are becoming more spiritually balanced, you can help those that are not. So it's all about helping others in the long run. Yes, helping yourself and defending your energy field, but helping others is truly key to all of this human survival. So your own spiritual development is about shielding and protecting others. Not necessarily protecting them from themselves, but clearing out their vibrations, but most importantly, clearing out yours. As the spirit world becomes more clear, as a lot of these alien beings aren't quite seen, but as souls are beginning to mature, and many of you are teaching a great deal, going deep into the teaching realm of yourselves. The teachers are being taught, the students are being taught. Everybody's constantly learning because even the aliens are learning. And there's nobody that's not, even sources at learning. Everybody's going through a phase of growth, especially in this earth, as all the darkness, a lot of darkness at least, has found this place. So it's basically trapping souls here. And many have been trapped here through many incarnation processes, even implanted with incarnations. So they easily go into an incarnation, because even the lower vibrations can set you up for an incarnation here that they want you as. They can make you rich, they can make you poor, whatever it might be. But of course, it's up to the soul to agree upon, which many do, as they're not ready to let go of this earth plane. So yes, so those that are trapped here in the reincarnation cycles, those of you in the awakening period, most likely will see a creature phenomenon somewhere. It might be alien, it doesn't really matter, it's a parasitic vibration. The parasitic beings here, yes, are keeping humans in the reincarnation cycle overall. Yes, feeding off of human energy in this for humanity to realize that. Yeah, it's very difficult. See, once again, this is difficult for some to accept. Some of you have already dealt with it, especially in the astral plane. You have seen it. You're experiencing it on a daily basis. Spirit, yes, low vibrational parasitic spirit guides are here, holding on to Earth's energy. You are here to bring it back into its balance. So that's when your aliens begin to appear. Greetings to you. Understanding your planet, the magic within itself. Of course, many are in forced labor camps called reality. Going to work, doing what you're told, is basically a forced labor reality. So as you go into more of a higher vibrational zone, high vibrational thinking, this third dimension began to break down, and wizardry would become more part of your society. So those are part of you're always going to have humans that are going to be part of the main collective. I wouldn't call it a slave collective, but the third dimensional paradigm of non-magician beings. Now they have it within themselves, but they're not ready to embrace it just yet. So they're grounding energy here. And that's where humans begin to also, so when humans become more magical and the third dimension becomes less of a slave reality, you become less tolerant on food. And you might connect to, berries and little things here and there, but nothing too heavy on the body as you be connecting to more of a magical reality. Some of you are already in that aspect at this time, and it's going to continue throughout your vibrations. Now, even like these feline beings, they're kind of like little dragons. They're felines, but they have like a reptilian vibration. We have fun amusement in them. Yeah, so like a tornado energy. But as you look at your animals a little bit differently than you have in the past, you'll see a shift in vibration. You're bringing their humor here as we're connecting. But yes, unlocking the dragon, as even the dragon finds amusement from these beings. So that's very helpful for them. Well, because Garth can get quite heavy. So yeah, well, these feline beings are young spirit beings that really haven't had a whole lot of experiences. So when they connect to a world like this, they're just shifting the vibration constantly. Some of you have seen these type of beings, especially when you take a picture and you see like a little something fly, something move. So they're higher vibrational entities. So this is, as you're connecting to these beings, especially some of you are like old masters, they're warning, because when you go through a lot of stress, they grow up very fast, but they still keep their innocence and their humor, depending on the person that's going through it, of course, too. So, and sometimes younger souls with other younger souls doesn't always work so well. But an old soul with a younger soul, it just helps the old soul relax and find just the beauty in a younger energy, and just finds more tolerance. Younger soul is usually ego, basically, or it's like just the same thing. But an older soul usually that's why a lot of male energies are usually attracted to younger females, is because a lot of them just been through a great deal. It's all about energy in the long run. It's just that the younger vibration feels lighter and not as dense as someone at the same age. So obviously your world's still figuring that out. It's just when the stress levels releases from your earth, you're still going to see that, but it'll still be a different vibration. So as your wizardry reality becomes stronger, some of you will see the wizard within yourself open up. It's not always going to be seen currently. It all depends on the soul itself. With a wizard planet, there's different forms of, some are very connected to the witch, like your Harry Potter groups, but some are very connected to the ancient wizards that are usually in a different realm altogether than your witch individuals. It's just witchcraft. I mean, technically it's all the same, but it's done differently. Some of you class yourselves as a different vibration. Yes, there's the warlock, is usually known as a trickster vibration. Sometimes you can see them in the skies laying down, just hovering over you. Like they're the king of the world, similar to that. But as you understand more of your vibrations, the energy of the earth would begin to shift. as you are accepting this side of yourselves, which is not the easy acceptance. Finding, yeah, instead of going by the propaganda, you have to work all the time. You're more relaxed all the time instead, and you're connecting to the higher realms, and you see more of yourself more clearly. The war planet. Greetings to you. We are Anunnaki. Greetings. Yes, your planet lost itself through the low vibrations of the universe, as it at one time had a chance of changing redemption, going to a high vibrational energy. A lot had to do with Saturn and its loss of life. Or Saturn is, you could say, kind of a bully of your planet in some form. It tested it. It brought a lot of heavy energies here to push it into a new direction. So an Earth lost that test, as you can see. So seeing that worlds that are known to, battle each other, you can say this is the battle planet, war planet, is basically there's a lot of secrets within this Earth, and not even aliens are fully understand of it. As humans are going through the loss of themselves, basically there's a lot of wizard vibrations here, but also the alien energies. Aliens can't always see beyond a wizard and magician energy. Anunnaki are known to be more like a wizard type of being overall, due to the genetics that was built on your planet. Of course, the Atlanteans have a form of it also, but you can say that Anunnaki are your true magicians. Of course, there are other beings, of course, while Assyrians are magician-like beings themselves. So alien beings that rely much on science don't always see the magic of the higher realms, the higher astral, which also does connect to the Arcturian. But it all depends on the alien energies that are working with your Earth. So we're going into a new foundation, basically rediscovering yourselves in a new era. So the new Earth, as you're going through, you're releasing a lot of low vibrations, as you can see. But basically, the magician planet is coming through slowly. Well, as your Earth becomes more spiritual, and not so much. So basically, your new Earth is a spiritual planet, basically, as many of you know, and that's where magic enhances itself. It cleanses it. It's no longer the war planet it used to be. It will be a different type of war planet because you'll see the magicians here are manipulating your Earth. Sometimes when I was realizing for some of you, there's like a magician or a wizard standing right in front of you sometimes, putting thoughts into your mind. Yes, it's that sophisticated. Normally, it's in the astral plane when they do that. They are very much within the Garthian protections of Agartha, but they can't project themselves into your reality. This is for you to begin to realize on different levels. There's magician energies, and some are magicians here that have gone rogue in their past also, are still healing themselves. There's a lot of deep knowledge here that has not been unlocked what you're doing at this time. And that's all we have. Greetings to you, Anunnaki. Mother Earth can be looked at in different ways. Yes, she's a protector, but also one to put you out into danger. If you don't learn more about yourself, like a teacher, instead of putting you in a place of safety, she puts you in a place of learning. So as many of you look for comfort, she pushes you out of those comfort zones, as many of you might have seen. She kicks beings out. You can say she kind of kicked the Atlanteans out. She wanted to let the teachers take over, and that is the lower realms. So allowing the teachers to do their thing, the teachers are everywhere, as you can see, the lower dimensional beings, if you want to look at it that way. But they are opening up the Earth's vibration even more. It's vibrating even more. As many are rejecting those teachings, souls are going through a beating, as you can see. But that was pretty much the idea. You're also very connected to Venus, Mars, Jupiter, but Venus plays a big role in healing the planet. So as the Earth continues to go out of control, Venus is always there as a healing part of feminine and masculine, but a lot of it's feminine vibrations to help you, so you don't lose your way, you don't lose your track. So yes, deep learning is basically taking the soul, and not crushing it, but kind of turning it into a diamond, squeezing the soul as much as possible, as many of you have probably felt. Yes, to go where it hurts. And this world finds where the pain is, where you feel pain, where you don't feel confidence, and it goes after it. So you can look at it in different ways, but it's basically you're learning from the universe in a way that has not been learned before. I mean, other universes, yes, but this world has allowed that door. It's a learning world, but also it's deeper than that. It takes the soul. I mean, it takes souls and brings them into darkness as souls get trapped into it. So they become apprentices of the low vibrations. Not that we're saying that's the way to go, but many souls get pulled into those energy fields. And you become under control of another being. Eventually you come back into yourself. But many beings aren't ready to take their power back. So they're under the slave mentality of the lower realms, the teachers. Teachers here can be quite intense, as you can see. Even Mother Earth is going through a lot of teachings herself. She's kind of losing herself, seeing herself not exactly in the best light also. So as Anunnaki beings, we are known to unlock those realms. Atlanteans is known not to do that, but some worlds are impossible. I mean, for us aliens, we can go to a planet and test it in any way we can. Open up the dimensions and see. It's like a cave. You go deep as far as you can. But also you test the planet itself. And we're also getting guided to do that. And you can say that's what happened to this planet. You say this planet was safe at one time until it became unsafe. Well, at least it's lessons that it has to teach. So it unlocked doorways within itself that are horrific, but also bring enlightenment. Of course, if you can get through the teachings of it. Even once again, Mother Earth's being heavily tested herself. She got herself into this too. So she's going through this with you. She's not blaming humans either, because her faults is what humans are going through too. You're experiencing this with her. So she has faults. You have faults also. So you're not alone in this. And sometimes she feels alone, and sometimes many of you feel alone. And that's a self-love energy that's still been worked on today. So this is a deep vibration that is not the easiest to tap into, but is one that is necessary. Yes, if you want to move up the ranks, well, you can teach others without being obsessed and taking over someone's soul, but some souls feel like that's only necessary. Because they feel that souls are just weak and they're the masters, so they can do whatever they want. So that's what's happening here. A portion of it, in essence. This is Orion Wars in Israel. Okay, blessings. Greetings to you. We are the Orions. Yes, there's a lot of deep learning, thinking on this planet, this Earth. Yes, many of our colonies or colonists are part of your society. Doesn't mean it's always for the positive, as some of you have infiltrated much of your religions to do as they please. They found a spiritual home. So some are doing positive, some are not. There's a battle within all religions. And you can say the alien war is now a religious war on your planet. So when you look at religions, and many of you have seen an alien vibration there, yes, you would be right. It's not necessarily Orions against Anunnaki. A lot of times Orions against Orions. And yes, it can get quite deep. And And yes, all alien species have their differences, but when I have a species of beings similar like to the Orion group, of course we have different types of beings, tall whites, you know, different types of felines, things of that kind, insectoids, squid people, and so on. But when we are against each other, or we cannot come to terms, as what is happening here through your religious sectors, and it's not just through Israel, it's all through all different religions. It's very difficult to fight, but a lot of it is in the Israeli people, yes. There's a war between both factions. And you can say it's Protestant, what is it called? Protestant, we don't even have the words here. A moment. Yes, this one's so not used to the vocabulary. Jew and Gentile. That's it. Yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of the split among beings. So, and there's more to it than that. But it's not just that. There's also within the Jewish people, within the Italian people, there's a split there also. So it's one religion is split within the original religion itself. And they can be both part of the same, as you say, religion. Yeah, even when we are getting ourselves confused. But I believe many of you understand. A lot of our energies are connected to CERN. CERN was to bring a different type of vibration here to the planet. A shifting of 5D energies. But yes, maybe not doing it in the most positive way, but it's showing alien technologies right in front of you publicly. And there's many of these technologies that have been hidden, and of course a lot of it goes into stealth air technology also. So the reason, yes, is that alien beings battle each other. So you battle each other on your planet. Yes, we do not get along with each other. Well, who does? And this is why many of you are born into families you can't get along with either. It's not just you're growing a different personality or character. You're growing to who you want. You're sculpting yourself into a different direction. It goes much deeper than that. You're also there to make amends, which is not always easy. Some of you incarnated with your enemies that are called your family. Even make them your soul family. The soul family can be enemies of yours, the villain, with each other, yes. Which makes things even more difficult. But sometimes when you're born into it, it heals it faster. Or you see the side of that person not wanting to heal. If you're willing to make peace, they're not willing to make peace. Or sometimes they claim they want peace, but in truth, that's not always the case. So, as some of you know, blessings. Greetings to you. I am the astronaut from Mars. I'm not necessarily Neil Armstrong, but I'm a consciousness of astronaut beings. I've been to other places, other consciousness. So you're going to a level of basically learning more about your extraterrestrial self or terrestrial self. Some prefer that. Many of you are actually water beings who live lifetimes in the oceans, where you've actually had space vehicles or ocean vehicles, basically. But they can actually go into space also. Basically, living under the water has been quite normal. So the reason why we're bringing this to you is why so many people find this reality so difficult, such as a desert plane, ocean plane example, but of course nature plane. So many of you come from obviously diverse places, but many of you actually come from ocean planets under the water. That's why some enjoy the sea, some are actually terrified of the sea, but they have no problem with it. If they're in a space shuttle, they're fine. And of course, many have lived underground. It's just diverse vibrations to get to know more of yourself on different levels. Some of you have had incarnations on the moon, even your current moon. Some of you have been on moon bases and being on a planet once again is very, difficult on a planet that is just very opposite of your own. Because many of you are used to a simplistic reality. You get up, you do your work, but it's usually work that you want to do, and you just have the rest of the day to just basically do as you please. And relationships, friends, and life has a lot of fulfillment. On this planet, it'll just go to work or you'll starve to death or you won't have any existence. And that is a reptilian realm, but also Palladian and Syrian worlds have adapted that vibration also. Well, it's just because the secrets within the planet they don't want to be known. Of course, humans on hostile worlds is known for the world has a lot of enrichment. As you know, some of the Anunnaki are connected to your planet, and many beings are still receiving information from this place, as it is still a valuable planet to many beings. They let humans just roam around their world and with drama and conflict as the alien beings kind of pull energies, knowledge from your planet and just wander off without anyone knowing they were even here. So you're going to a time of basically becoming aware of these beings and connecting more to your higher selves and just basically end the charade of alien existence is not here. So we expect many of you in your mind's eye, in your thoughts, your imaginations, your visions, seeing different alien beings. You might feel like you're making it out, but you'd be surprised what kind of downloads many of you are receiving. You can actually receive knowledge of just being on a space station, of being on different levels of it, on different, even food courts. Some of them have, they're not like yours, but they're kind of basically conversation places where also the ship bays are. Is just tapping more into, because once again, many of you have been out in space and you're used to it. Doesn't mean you need to be an astronaut, because an astronaut in this world doesn't make any sense. Because this is more about covering things up than to bringing in what is here. Well, basically, the idea is you get into your car or your vehicle and be able to go into space without a problem. So you're re-educating humanity for that. Many are, yes, holding that one back, obviously, because you're in a physical realm, but anything is possible here. So going into the skies, yes, is a possible future, but we do see many of you going into space. Most likely it would be through a space shuttle, but you also have the capabilities of space vehicles. Yes, it's parking in your lawn, or going on a bus and going into space, things of that kind. So we're bringing that vibration out for many of you to just connect to those energies and remember your past. When we say past is because you've had other incarnations in those places. So just bringing that vibration back to you is key. As for Neil Armstrong, he's going through, yes, a lot of internal healing. He's actually been a robot in his previous lifetimes. There's a lot of self-doubt, especially his position was as it was on your planet. But not knowing of the alien vibrations, at least in the beginning, but knowing something was going on. And of course, he knew much, but a lot of it was removed, memories are removed from his mind. So, and there are actually many that are aware that we're not part of famous space visits to the moon, and they're the ones that are fully aware of who's not supposed to be there. And even your Russia is aware of it. Brings you. We are the Anunnaki consciousness. Healing one's soul, as you can see, is not easy. Especially when you have a disconnect from a relationship. That is also for the soul to realize their, self-worth. So you're becoming reliant on other energies. And there's nothing wrong with that. But relationships can also deter you from self-worth. And self-worth is key for your growth here, for your movement into higher dimensions, at least in this, the surviving this earth experience, basically. Also to, yes, pretty much like create your own world, your own reality, where you find healthy. And others wish to join, that's fine. If not, that's fine also. To continue forward in your direction, to build, to constantly create as, you know, as your soul expands, because the souls can stop growing here. It does happen. Yes, you learn, but you can also stop your growth. Your growth comes in through experiences, and as you doing new things. Yes, wanting to heal, but and yes, this is basically men are in a healing form at this time, a healing stage. So yes, you are preparing for an alien connection, alien realities. As you heal with the Earth's energy, aliens get closer to the Earth, basically how it works. So as humans here, we're every little bit counts. Every little bit works. Yes, you might not see aliens landing on the White House lawn as soon as you're visualizing it, but you are bringing that vibration into your reality, even if you might not be aware of it. So in the astral plane, what are you doing with the alien vibrations? Some of you are working deeply in those realms, and you're seeing it, you're feeling it. It just shows you're working with it, but you're also healing and making this world work for you in a way. And manifesting aliens is different. Researching it, drawing it, having it be part of your society, of your world, your universe. Well, you know, some people can have paintings of alien energies if you really want to go to that direction. There's nothing wrong with that. It's for you to feel at home, which is very difficult. As many are getting, yes, tired of the physical because you're so used to the high vibrational worlds. It's finding some way where you are at home here. It's like, yes, you settle down here. This is your space station. It's like you landed here and I have to make it work for you. Of course, you're incarnated here. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of the same thing. You might not like how the food is working here, how society is, but what works for you? What is your world? And it's difficult to see that, tap into it, take your own advice. But it's truly bringing your alien world here and making it like listening, smelling incense, listening to certain type of music that's not popular, but popular to you, making this reality work for you. One of the hardest things you can do because so many are in a high mind, they want to be part of that group. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of soul growth also. Everything is growth, of course, but some souls, because they're relying on in a relationship, they can actually slow their growth down. It doesn't like stop it completely, but you're going to a different direction. As you, yes, there's internal self-love you have to work on, but the idea is to go forward. It truly is the forward thinking is really part of reality and very difficult, as we are saying. It's difficult for anyone to take their own advice. You might be able to say it for somebody else, but can you do it yourself? Can you actually do it? It's like riding a bicycle, technically, with no help. You say technically, it's just finding that balance within yourself. And that's your UFO. So you are bringing UFO energies here closer. You're just not seeing it, but on an astral plane, they're already here. And as you just basically make the world work for you, you'd be surprised. The little things matter so much. Some feel like they need all this big advancement, but just the little things really matter. Once again, we want to keep saying this. Saying this is one thing. Doing it is another. We completely understand that.